This is my 2004 Chevy Colorado work truck with a cammed 5.3 liter LS and an entire turbo kit hidden beneath 2 toolboxes. In this video I burned myself 3 times, bled 6 times, got 1 piece of metal in my eye, as well as doing some scientific tests to make sure that what we are doing works properly.
Oh, it's running on 4 cylinders?
Chaos will ensue, and you will be entertained.
I don't know what you're saying, but I'm not listening to you. I like it.
As you can see, we are running out of room and we still have to make an exhaust, and so therefore, I've acquired another toolbox. Well, we obviously don't want all this extra weight, so the challenge of making this still look like a toolbox, but getting rid of as much weight as possible. This would be a great time to introduce to you guys a new sponsor of the channel. As you all know, I like cutting things. I've cut a lot of stuff. Some might say I've gotten pretty good at it. It's become a hobby of mine. That's why when I got in contact with Benchmark Abrasives, it almost seemed like a prayer had been answered, or a dating website for businesses had found the perfect match. Benchmark Abrasives has everything you need to do everything that I do. If you want to cut a car in half, they got it. If you want to drill some holes, cool. You got to clean yourself off after you just caused all that destruction and chaos. They've got what you need. With all these high quality bits, tools, and abrasives, there is no need for you to shop anywhere else because they also have incredible pricing. Now, they like me and you so much that there is a discount code in the description and on the screen here, free mix, for you to get a set of flap discs for free. All you have to do is pay shipping, but if you spend over $50, they will ship it for free. So check out Benchmark Abrasives. Their link is in our description, and they are now a proud partner of the channel. Now we're gonna tack all of these drawer faces together, make it look like a toolbox again. Then we go and cut a hole in that toolbox and we can make the exhaust. Look at that, it just looks, look at this little toolbox next to a bigger toolbox, just sitting here being a toolbox and stuff. See here. Austin, what? Can you get me a, oh Blake, hand me that flathead there.
You're gonna have
I don't know what you're saying, but I'm not listening to you.
It's quite the peephole, you brilliant individual. Is that better, Preston?
Your dick is so small.
Okay. That's your axle.
So here's okay. Too late.
Put your box back on.
The line's right here. See that line?
That's the outside of the box?
That's the inside of the box.
Inside.
This is just a support for the bed, yeah?
Yeah, just cut it off right there.
Where'd the 45 go? Wow, it's almost like what I had planned was exactly what you were yelling at me for.
You should cut that out maybe a little more.
This fashion?
Yeah.
Kind of like where it's at.
Why?
Because that looks like it's hard to cut. mean, that would clear.
Down there?
Yeah.
I like that. Right there?
I can see your reflection on the pipe. You're very beautiful.
I need to be that far down then.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, what we got going on? Let me catch you up a little bit because I've done a little bit of work. What we have is a 2015 GMC Resignator and a 2019 Dodge Ram muffler. Creating the incognito air filter intercooler pipe and then hiding everything in a toolbox would be pretty counterproductive if we didn't have something to make it quiet. Obviously, that's going to restrict power, but we have a 2.5-inch cutout that we're going to merge with all this, and so we'll get into that. So we've got this pipe coming down here, got a little bit under the bed. So now what we're going to do is continue this down. This is 4-inch, and that is 3.5, 3-ish. So before the 4-inch merges with that, we'll have the cutout right in line with the 2 so that when the turbo hits and this needs to flow, we will have approximately 5 inches of exhaust flow instead of just the 3. To properly make sure this muffler is what we need to make this truck quiet, we are going to test it with the worst sounding straight pipe vehicle on the planet, the Nissan 350Z. Perfect. We will now test the second most annoying sound on the planet, me screaming. Excellent. Oh no, a giant hole. Whatever shall I do? Say it's pretty funny seeing that next to where we are now. If it went without saying, since all of this is gonna be this ugly pipe anyways, I'm not TIG welding anything. We are gonna MIG weld everything else underneath because I don't want to take 6 weeks to put a muffler on the truck. Ain't that beautiful? Look at that. We are getting back to our roots and it feels so good. I like it. Now to make a teeny tiny transition. Well, I don't think I could have found any more of a perfect piece. It's, that's pretty great. So then probably somewhere right there is where we will add the cutout because we have 0 room right here and we want to do it before the Resignator and obviously before the muffler. I'm gonna MIG weld this and then we'll move on. All right, mind the tack welds, I had a heck of a time for some reason. So that's gonna go and then over here, we're gonna kind of sort of, dang, that worked out pretty well actually. We're gonna kind of sort of follow the exhaust and then we'll put the cutout about here-ish. Oh yeah. All right, we got that going to there. We got that down here. like such. We got it coming down here. We got our little cutout there that comes over and pops over up, and then we got our giant muffler and our pretty good sized resonator. So, a lot of controversy about this intercooler getting flow and back here getting really hot, which is understandable if you just look at this the way it is and you don't think that I'm going to do more, which I am. So I'm going to show you all that now. So I have here some extra of that basically, which is just some really thick rubber plastic-ish ducting. What I'm thinking next, so we got fans on there, we got a scoop, we will have a fresh, cool air supply going through there. That's not gonna be worth a darn if this thing is radiating a bunch of heat and we just have stagnant air back here, right? So I'm gonna cut a bunch of those out. And then what I'm thinking with that stuff is possibly on that side, but the gas fill is right where I wanna put it. So we'll revisit that side. But over here, I'm gonna put a hole or two in here because this is hollow underneath. We can stick our hand up in here. So in here is hollow. So I can run those tubes somewhere down here, just get a little bit of air that would run in and then come up into here. So instead of this just radiating stagnant heat, we'll have some airflow. That's obviously not airtight. Another thing Manny suggested is on the back side here where you're not gonna see anything up top is drill a ton of holes in here just as another exit for air, but you're not gonna see it because it's against the truck. It shouldn't take away from the illusion. We do have some more things to do back here, so let's jump into that and then we can run oil lines and all that other good stuff, and then we can fix the power steering link up front, and then we can start it and see how all my madness worked. One last thing, while we're doing all this, I'm gonna take this off, Scotch-Brite the whole thing real quick, make it black, and we'll see how it actually looks. This is dipping much further down than it's supposed to. There you go. We'll pop that off, make that black, see how it looks. If my primer is a little shiny, we'll just hit it with some matte black rattle can, and then we'll put it on the ground. I don't think you're gonna see any of it at all, just by what it looks like right here. So we're gonna do all that and all that right now. That's what I expected. All right, good news is our oil feed line reaches with excess. Bad news is, in running the oil line all the way back, I noticed the exhaust that I made that goes all the way back here to the turbo at one point was pretty close to some fuel lines, which bothered me. Here changing it just a little bit, but I've almost got it done. But then at some point, this thing got cross-threaded, so I had to cut this off and put a new one on. So I'm gonna do that real quick, and then I just got one of those to tack on there, and then we should be set. As you can see, with the truck still being up in the air, the pipe has almost disappeared, which is a beautiful thing. I mean, this is gonna be up here, you're not gonna see that. That blends in, and once it's on the ground, you're gonna be looking at it like this, and you ain't gonna see nothing. This is gonna be kind of an issue fitting here. I wish I would have foreseen that before cutting a giant square. When you do rear mount turbos, there's so much oil in the line and there's so much oil that needs to go back. You don't want the oil to rest in here. So you want to have a little like reservoir basically for all the oil from that line and what's in the turbo to drip into this little catch pan thing instead of collecting in here, because then it'll go through the seals and then startups will be smoky, and eventually I don't think it's good for the seals. Got these little fittings that'll go in there and actually thread onto the AN, which is nice. We got a little bit of hose, a couple more of these guys here. That's not needed. And this piece of hose, which I think is gonna be almost perfect for basically from the pump to the pan. So now I got everything we need, so let's make that stupid little tank thing that the Google recommended. Two things. One, I forgot you're supposed to add a little tiny breather on this. Secondly, I don't understand why they put an anodized coating on aluminum. It doesn't make any sense to me. You clean that off, stick that there, and then stick that on top of that. In the middle of producing glorious B-roll of the last tidbits of putting this together before we get to hear it, I realized this fitting is not restricted at all. So on a lot of turbos, see how tiny that hole is? You want to restrict oil flow so it doesn't completely just flood this thing. That's on a lot of turbos, that's how you blow the seals out. That's how the seals went bad on the Bugs turbo originally, because whoever I bought those from was just running a wide open thing like that, and it just flooded it and oil came out of the seals and bye-bye turbo. So ignore the beautiful little snid bits I just filmed of this because we have to take it off and put this on. I have everything wrapped up. I just have to put this back on. I have new gaskets on here. All the plugs are in. We got the dipstick back in. We got the heater core lines back on. Got clamps on this. I am going to remake this because it touches, but I want to hear this thing. I double checked all the lines underneath. I fixed the power steering line. We should be good to go. Just put a new oil filter on, so I got to put oil on. So I'm back here getting ready to just bolt this up, and then we can start it, right? Well, I'm curious if I made a stupid and didn't fully, I don't know if I bolted the turbo down all the way when we made this to here, because no matter what I do, I can't get this to, this only on the bottom only wants to go like that. And if it comes up any higher, it doesn't change the angle. So unfortunately, but I think I have to cut this to make it line up with that. So we have this jacked at the height that we want, and then we have this perfect roll of electrical tape being our barrier, because we can cut this way a little more. We just want it to not be resting against that. And it looks like we need to make a really kind of not symmetrical, teeny tiny pie cut. That's pretty darn close. Not quite. All right, fixed. This is our temporary power source to power the return pump for the oil. Tight. I checked everything.
I'm a little nervous. It's late. I'm running on fumes. But we're going to find out. One is that guy right there. Please, please, please. Nope. Come back to life. It's probably mad. There's no O2 sensors. Come on, girl. That's pretty quiet. That's pretty quiet. Get ready. Oh, it's running on 4 cylinders. Oh my gosh. I don't have half the spark plugs plugged in. Gosh dang it, I'm an idiot. Wow. That's a new record. That sounded pretty good for 4 cylinders. Wow. That was doing extremely well for 4 cylinders. Okay. All right. No dripping. It's probably running rough because I don't have O2 sensors in it. Yeah. Okay, guy. Please hold while I fix this stupid mistake. Okay. Can confirm spark plugs now have power sources. So this should be very different. I was wondering why you didn't really hear the turbo much, and maybe that's just how it's going to be, but there it is. Oh, it's so quiet. What turbo? I don't even know what you're talking about. That is a giant relief. No leaky, no leaky, no leaky, no leaky. I can't believe it was running on 4 cylinders that well. Come on. Come on. Yeah!